What's going on Facebook? This is David W. Williams, also known as Diamond Dave, the founder of the highest paid time part-time paid job in the world options trading course. If you want to get your time back, you want to spend more time with your family, you need to hit me up about that particular course. What we're going to talk about today, right, is do you operate on principle, okay, or do you operate on the emotion of the situation? Okay, so these are for people that's trying to understand, are you living a life based on principles? Or are you living a life based on how you feel at that particular time starts to govern your particular behavior? And I'm not one of them people that believe because of your gender, right, or because of your sex, it determines how you conduct yourself in the situation. Okay, I believe in the fact that you wasn't laced with game properly and you don't decide that you're going to be governed by this game determines how you act in the situation. That's just my belief set. But let's go ahead and get into it. I knew someone, right? I had dealt with this person before. And okay, let me frame it this way. If I'm dealing with you and I don't like something about you, okay? So let's say you come to me and you say, hey, David, what's going on, Tommy? You come to me and you say, David, let's do some business together. And I just don't like how you move in the game, okay? It's offensive to me. I don't like how you moving out here. Off principle, I'm not going to deal with you. I don't care what kind of money you got for me. Because I've already decided I don't agree with how you move. See, it's certain things you can't be involved in, and I'm not going to have nothing to do with you. Why? Because I don't move like that. And I don't need your money enough for me to come down on my principles. I wasn't raised that way, and that ain't what I believe in. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Okay, so let me give you an example of my principles and what I try to teach a lot of younger dudes. I don't believe in shacking up with women. What I mean by shacking up, I don't believe in living with a woman that you're not married to. I don't believe in it. I wasn't raised that way and I don't believe in it. Okay? It don't matter if I'm living on the street, right? Because everything done fell bad on me. I ain't got nothing going. I'm just dealing with some I'm being tested right now, right? And a chick that I know roll up on the side of me and say, David, I know you're going through something. You could come stay with me for 3 or 4 months, right? Till you get back on your feet. You know what I'm gonna tell her? What did I tell you from the jump? I told you I don't believe in shacking up with women. So why would I go against my word for you? Or why would I go against my word to get out of this uncomfortable situation temporarily? Because once I get out of this situation, my word ain't no good no more. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? So you got to understand how sometimes in this world you're going to be tested. See, you can have everything going good for you, right? And the spirit of evil gonna go to the spirit, is gonna go to the creator, the source, and gonna say, you know what? The reason why they adhering to the game, the reason why they staying governed by the game is because everything going good for them. But as soon as you put some trials and tribulations in their life, they gonna turn their back on the game. They gonna turn their back on the principles of this game, and they gonna do something different. And that's what most of y'all do. So if I tell a woman I don't believe in shacking up with you, that's my word. And things go bad for me, I don't now run to no woman to shack up with because I'm in a situation that's temporarily uncomfortable. I got to stand on my word. Why do I got to stand on my word? Because when I get out of that situation, I need my word to still mean something to that woman. That's where a lot of dudes mess up. And the woman will still deal with you, but in the back of her mind, your word ain't no good to her. And you don't understand that. So whatever you come in the door telling that woman that that's what you standing on, it don't matter where it go, good, bad, or sideways. You need to stand on what come out your mouth because you want that woman to understand everything that you say you believe in and you gonna stand on it. And if it don't go well, you as a man gonna try to figure out how you gonna get yourself up out of that situation. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? So that's what I mean by living by principles. So if you coming at me and you saying, David, I want to do some business. So Flan Manly Prince, right? That's my guy. So I'm going to use him as an example, even though I would do business with him. We done business in the past. If there was something about Flan that I didn't like, and he came to me and say, David, it's a deal on the table for $100K. But I said, you know what, Flan, I don't like how you move out here, dog. I can't get involved in that because I don't want my name involved in that. I can't let the $100K sway me. Okay. But let me tell you what I see people do. People will get involved with somebody and not like something about the person. Now, you knew this before you got into the situation that you didn't like something about this person. But you'll get into it with them and you knew ahead of time you didn't like something about them. Then when things go bad, the first thing you want to do is pop out and say, you know what? I knew I shouldn't have did this because I already didn't like this about you. So you just let me know you don't live on principle. You live on how you feel about that situation emotionally at that particular time in your life. See, that's how you living. And I've seen this in real life. So I had did some business with a person. The person I did business with did some flaw-ish in my mind. They did some real flaw stuff. They broke their word to me in business, which I don't agree with, right? Everybody not perfect. People have trials and tribulations. Sometimes people miss deadlines. I'm talking about something that's blatant and flagrant in the game, where you break your word to me. That's what they did. So I already knew they was flawed. But see, once I know you flawed, all I'm going to do is look back. I'm not simply say, if I know you flawed, I ain't going to start no campaign against you. All I'm going to do, right, is sit back and see how flawed you going to get. So if I already know that a person is flawed, I don't start no political campaign against that person. I'm not no rapper. I don't do none of that. I'm going to just sit back and see how flawed you going to get, because I done already pegged you as being flawed in this game, right? You ain't living by the principles of this game. You living by how you feel when you wake up in the morning. Okay, bam. So they did that to me. Now let me show you what else they did. A few months later, they did business with another person, right? They had an agreement with that person. And they felt like the person broke the agreement. Now, they did the same thing. They got mad at a person that did the same thing they did to me. But you see how when it's them, it's different. Okay, bam. But that's what they did. What did they do? They jumped on Facebook and did a live. And you know what they said? I knew I shouldn't have did business with this person because of their marriage situation, right? My thing is this. If that's how you felt about it, why you ain't say that from the jump? But why did that person do that? One, they flawed. Two, they don't live by principles. They live off emotion. So all they was doing was waiting for something to go wrong. So now they can jump on the internet and say, you know what? I should have never did business with this particular person because of their marriage situation. But you knew what their marriage situation was from Jump Street. But see, none of that didn't surprise me. Why? Because I already knew they was flawed by how they handled me. Like I tell you, once I know you flawed, I ain't going to start no campaign against you. I'm going to just sit back and see how flawed you going to get. Because if I meet you in 2020 and you flawed and you over 18 years old, you was flawed way before I met you. I ain't bring that out in you. That was already in you. It just take a situation to bring the flawness out of you. See, so I'll keep asking you is that, do you live off principle? Or do you live off how you feel about that situation emotionally at that particular time? Now, I'm going to give you another scenario. You get a lot of people. This was back in the day when you had the same-sex marriage situation in the state of Florida. And you had a lot of people, right? And their attitude was that I don't agree with people of the same sex getting married. Now, I'm talking about black gay people specifically, right? Because I don't really worry about people of other ethnicities like that. I'm not against them, but I worry about my folks. Like I said, I'm here for poor and working class black people. And included in poor and working class black people is poor and working class black people, right, that are married to people of the same gender. They part of that pool of people I'm working with. Okay, bam. So you got people saying, I don't agree with what they characterize, what the media characterize as gay marriage, right? Let me tell you why I disagree with that. Because the state of Florida cannot tell two adults that they cannot form a contract. Their sexuality, how they identify sexually, has nothing to do with their ability to form a contract and affirm that contract as two adults. When you get married, that is a business partnership in the eyes of the state. A divorce is a lawsuit against that particular partnership. So if two same-sex people cannot form into a marriage partnership, can two same-sex people form a subcontracting agreement to do construction on a property? And if they can form one, how come they can't form the other? And that's, to me, the principle of the situation. I don't care about nobody being gay, straight, lesbian, trans. None of that don't mean nothing to me. Why? Because there's principles in this. And the principle is the state of Florida cannot create a law that tells consenting adults that are of age of having the ability to firm a contract what kind of contracts they can enter into that don't have anything to do with their ability to exercise the contract. The contract is not harmful to any party. So how can they do that? And that was my issue. It has nothing to do with how I feel about gay people. I don't have no feelings about gay people. I feel a certain way about black human beings. Whether you gay, straight, that don't mean nothing to me. That's what y'all been talking about them other people to put in front of y'all, right? Because that's how they control y'all. I don't care. I have a certain way on principle that I'm going to deal with another human being. On principle. I'm going to deal with you as another human being on principle, not how I feel about you. So I don't have to like you as a person. We don't have to see eye to eye. We don't have to be best buddies, but it's a certain way I'm going to deal with you on principle. And what I'm not going to do is try to exclude you from your rights as a human being because I may not like something that you do personally. But see, the way to persuade most people is to deal to their emotion, because most people don't operate on principle. They operate on how they feel. So you got a gay person who thinks I got to make people like me to get treated like a human being in society, because the majority of y'all ain't operating on principle. But see, if you really operating on principle, you understand that the same way the state say we not going to let gay people get married is the same way the state can say we not going to let black people get married based on how they feel. You know what? They've already done that. Black marriage in this country did not used to be accepted under law. Black marriage was social, but it wasn't legal. Because they said that black people cannot form contracts in law. So because black people can't form contracts in law, there's no such thing as a black person being married. Because when you get married through the state, that's a contract. So you got to understand that you not acting on principle. You going down a road where, yeah, it's cool when it's something you want, but you create an environment to where it's something that could also turn against you. And this is what you got to understand. So the question I always have for people is, when you deal with people in your relationships, is you operating on principle? Is you operating off how you feel that particular day about that person? And when I'm dealing with people, it's real easy for me to find out whether or not they operating on principle, because all I do is just sit back and observe them. And like I said before, is once I realize that you flaw, I don't start no campaign against you on the internet. I'm not going to make no videos about you. I don't do none of that. I know how this game works. I just sit back and continue to watch you flaw out. Because I already have designated you as being a flawed person. You flawed, okay? You need to go back to the factory and be recast, because you flawed, okay? So I don't do that. You feel me? Because I realize that a lot of y'all is operating on how y'all feel. So you'll deal with a flawed person if they make you laugh. You'll deal with a flawed person if they appeal to your sense of arrogance. You'll deal with a flawed person if they just yes man or yes woman you all the time, because you don't operate on principle. But what you don't understand is that same flawed stuff that person might have did to me or might have did to somebody else, one day they're going to turn around and do to you. Because the only reason they haven't done that to you yet is because they haven't felt that way about you yet. And as soon as they feel a certain way about you, they going to turn flaw against you too. Because that's how flawed people think. They operate off emotion. They're not operating off principle. So this is something that I wanted to bring to the forefront, because I know a lot of people on social media, they talk about a lot of different things, this, that, and the third, but nobody really talks about how come we don't operate off principle, and how come our dealings with each other are not based on principle as opposed to how we feel about people. Because a lot of our stuff is based on how we feel. And I'm here to tell you is that how you feel about somebody emotionally changes over time. Right? So you can't determine your dealings with a person just based on how you feel about them emotionally. There's no longevity in that, because your emotional feelings about a person will change. So I hope you got value from this. If you did, share it out. This is David W. Williams, also known as Diamond Dave. Right? Hit me up in the comments if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you later.